Cinicula here, bringing you another episode of Xenoblade Chronicles. Last time, Lynn and Elma took us on a tour around the administrative district, and this time we're going back to the Blade Barracks to decide if I'm going to be a Blade or not. So let's go over here, and last time I really liked the tour. Like, the first time I played it, I was like, just get this over with. But this time I'm like with my other playthroughs, I'm like, wait, this shows a lot of the characters.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know, very creative, but it's true. Like, there's a lot of character in the characters, and I love it. Let's go back to the Blade Barracks and basically see what happens.
Honey, we're home.
Yes, very amusing.
Who wants a fresh cup of tea?
Thank you, Ms. Gu, but I can't stay long. I just wanted to pass along a request from your commanding officer.
Commander Vandam? Does it have anything to do with our new arrival?
Correct. He stopped by while you were out on your tour. He said he'll come back, but that I shouldn't wait to ask you.
Here we go. I bet I can guess.
You probably can. He wants to fast-track our new friend here for blade duty with a training assignment. What in the hell are we waiting for? As he put it.
The commander does have a way with words.
Makes even my pitch sound smooth.
I explained about the memory issues, but he didn't see it as a problem. And to be honest, given our current need for blade recruits, I can't say I entirely disagree.
Hey, it's not me you need to convince. Blade service is voluntary, remember?
Of course, and I would never force or coerce anyone. Well, friend, what do you say? Can we count on you to do your part? Ms. Ku, how much do you know about life pods?
Life pods? You mean like from the white whale?
Yes, those life pods. Like the one Elma, a blade, rescued our friend here from. Emphasis on the word rescued. Because if you aren't released, you just sit there frozen in stasis. Forever.
So did you have an engineering question about life pods? Or is this all part of the guilt trip?
I'm sure I have no idea what you're talking about. Now, what'll it be, friend?
Now, no matter how much you say refuse, you cannot refuse to become a Blade. You have to become a Blade, and there's no question about it. If I press refuse again, the same thing will happen. Watch.
Now, you wouldn't want to refuse the people who saved your life, would you, friend?
And if I do it again, it's the same thing.
You said no, you wouldn't refuse. That's a yes, right? I knew you'd make the right choice. Welcome to the organization. Elma, he can start on your team. You'll begin training immediately.
Yes, Mr. Secretary. With pleasure.
All right! Welcome to the Cool Kids Club!
Now then, let's discuss that training assignment. We've decided to start you out on a probe installation, just to get your feet wet.
I guess we should back up a bit. Here in New LA, we're using a specialized computer system called Frontier Nav to help us deploy a sensor grid across Mira. A network of data probes that allows us to monitor conditions and collect all kinds of information about the planet.
Expanding that grid and filling in the blind spots is one of Blade's highest priorities. Here, take a look at this. What you're seeing on screen is a terrain map that includes New LA and the surrounding landmass. As you can see, we've divided the area into a series of hexagonal blocks. We call these blocks segments. Together, they form our grid. We determined this was the most efficient pattern given the limited range of our probes. Based on it, we know exactly where we need the probes to go. Now we just have to install them.
The sooner the better, as far as I'm concerned. The Frontier Nav probes can also detect the general locations of living things in the vicinity, which comes in handy if we need to track down a Blade or another citizen.
Yes, quite handy indeed. So for this first exercise, you'll be heading here, to that white segment. Go there, install the data probe, and then come back home.
Got it. East of the city.
In that case, we can take the east gate out of the administrative district, right? We should be there in no time.
I'll leave the details on the data probe installation procedure to you, Elma.
Of course, Mr. Secretary. All right, you two, shall we?
Yeah! Training or not, let's go install the hell out of that probe!
Yeah, let's install the hell out of that probe, guys. Let's go. Chapter 2, The New Frontier. So, since we're gonna get out of the city, it's time to explain one thing. Here we are. I'm sitting down, guys. I'm gonna explain something to you. There's gonna be a lot of fighting in the future. So I'm gonna talk about the different arts that we have and the different characters other than Cross. I know, this is kind of insane, right? Anyway, I haven't talked about this. Party! We can edit everything! We've gotten so much stuff from the things previously. We got this, which is awesome. Let's see if we have anything else. We got this, that's awesome. Ooh, and that's weird. I've never seen that before. And we just got a lot of different stuff. Elma has her own gear, and she's ranged attack. Something that is interesting. And she's melee attack. Basically, I'm going to explain the arts now. Elma's arts. We have Shadow Strike. Basically an equivalent to Shulk's Backslash in regular Xenoblade Chronicles, if you've ever played that. If not, it's a damaging attack that inflicts dagger. Shulk's Backslash should not inflict dagger, but it does more damage from behind. Sliding Slinger is a ranged attack, and if it's used from the side, it does 10 more things. Stream Edge increases damage in ranged combos. Upper Hand, Upper Hand increases the power of a critical. An Early Board raises the power of critical hits and boosts the critical hit chance. Lyn, time to go out Lyn. Lyn has Wild Smash. Boosts damage when enemy is toppled. Flame Cloak increases thermal resist up. Now process something called Chrome Armor, which is very similar to that, but this time it does thermal resistance instead of physical resistance. Wild Smash, this is just does thermal damage, and it does 10 hits. It's actually a very good art, like, starting off. It's actually really good start. Wild Down inflicts Topple, which is pretty cool. And one thing we haven't mentioned, it has the TP. It costs 1,000 TP to use. Cross has no arts that are TP, but time to upgrade some stuff. You can upgrade an art by pressing X, and if you have enough BP, which is, I'll put an arrow on screen, right there. Yeah, right there. If you have enough, you can increase your arts. I'm going to increase this a little, and I'm going to increase Flame Grenade. Now, Lyn, I'm going to increase Wild Smash, and I'm going to increase all of them by 1. Elma, Sliding Slinger is honestly one of her best arts, along with Shadow Strike. So let's go out and do some fighting. So let's go. So let's exit the administrative district and let's go.
Man, am I glad we pulled an assignment to the east of the city this time. It'd be a long walk all the way back over to the west gate.
Hold on. Are we even sure the East Gate will be open? Last I heard, it was still on lockdown from all the high-level indigent activity.
It was, but they just lowered the threat level earlier today. The gates are officially open for business. One of our teams must have gone out there and kicked some furry indigent butt, huh?
Wouldn't surprise me at all. Irina's team is one of our best.
How does he know Irina and Gwyn?
We ran into them just before we met up with you. They were on their way out to an assignment.
Well, then that settles it. It must have been them, right? Man, forget this amateur hour probe baloney. Those guys are where the action's at.
I'll try not to take that personally. But enough talk. We've got our mission to deal with. Let's head out.
Roger. That probe isn't gonna install itself. Let's get to the East Gate, shall we?
Eleanor's advice. The second mount on the gamepad. Funny story about that. I don't know how to capture the gamepad. So, when we talk about that, I'm going to just show pictures of that. I'm sorry. I just don't know how, okay? So, yeah, let's go to the East Gate. And am I the only one who finds it funny that every character at the beginning of, like, these beginning chapters is shall we? Like, it's like, shall we go into these engines? Shall we go to the East Gate? Shall we? I don't know. And, like, the voice actors, like, were like, one of the voices over and over again. Like, there's like, I'm staggered. One of them was shall we? It's like, I don't know why I find it so funny, but I really do. Well, let's go to the East Gate so we can install some probes. I'm gonna run. Right now it's nighttime. It's just stupid rain covering the moon up. I was gonna say the moon looks really nice in this game. But let's just stupid rain. You can see the probe right there. All probes are marked by a laser from the sky. It's like a beacon from Minecraft. I'm not sure which is better, a beacon from Minecraft or this. Oh crap, what is that? Explosions everywhere?
What the hell happened here? You don't think that one Cinicula could have killed all these simius?
Unless...
Unless... what?
this is bad.
What's bad? I don't follow you.
That Cinicula. It's a tyrant.
Huh? But it looks just like any other Cinicula.
Think about it. Your typical simius is way higher up on the food chain than your typical Cinicula, right? Usually we'd find one simius standing over 3 or 4 Cinicula corpses. But here, the tables have been turned. And I don't see a single trace of any other indigents in the area. There's only one explanation. That Cinicula is a tyrant.
Let me check the Blade Report database. If there's a tyrant this close to the city, someone must have run across it. Bingo. There was a Cinicula tyrant sighted not too long ago, but it was a couple of segments further out.
It could have followed the blade that spotted it back towards New LA, or come here to feed, or who knows what.
That's crazy. I can't believe there's a tyrant right on our doorstep, and HQ isn't doing a thing about it.
Well, don't forget why they sent us here in the first place. Frontier Nav's range is still limited.
Oh, right. They couldn't track it if there's no local probe. They must have lost it when it went off the grid. Whoa, whoa, whoa there, rookie. We're talking about a tyrant here. Do you even understand what that means?
We should probably explain. Tyrant is our term for any indigenous life form that falls outside of our usual threat ranking system. In other words, they're too powerful for us to even measure how dangerous they would be to take on.
And too powerful doesn't always just mean physically strong. If a creature has even a single especially nasty trait, it's classified as a tyrant.
Even some of Blade's very best teams have come back with serious injuries after running into a tyrant in the field. If they come back at all. As long as you understand the risks involved. Lynn?
Count me in. The same goes for everyone in New LA, but if we're gonna settle here on this planet, we're gonna have to get used to dealing with tyrants now and then. Besides, if I need to, I can always run away while it's busy chewing on one of you guys.
Fair enough. But don't push it, okay? Either of you. If we can take it down, great, but if not, even just luring it away would be a moral victory. As long as we buy enough time to install the probe, we can use Frontier Nav to track it, or any other tyrant that comes this close to the city from now on. Just make sure you're ready before we attack. This will be tougher than anything else we've faced.
It's time. It's time, guys. Let's beat this. And I would like to say,
Oh, they've seen
listen
us.
to the best music you
Wear them down for distance. Flame grenade! Hey! Assault hammer! Chrome armor! Hey! We're in a good position. Move in!
Let's lay into it.
Flame grenade!
I think that's enough for now. Basically, tyrants. Like Lynn said, you should upgrade your arts before you take on this boss, or tyrant, or whatever you want to call it. I just granted myself invincibility. That's just great. Now, this is gonna be a piece of cake for all of it. But anyway, tyrants are really powerful bosses. Like unique monsters from the original game. Tyrants are like unique monsters on steroids. Like, they're insane. Especially some of the late game ones. Like, if you remember Avalanche Odyssey, it's even worse. But this guy isn't so bad. Like, you can beat this guy if you just stick together. I would focus on basically just doing stuff.
We are awesome!
Nice work, Lynn. You fought well. You did too. Now let's get down to business and install that data probe. If we stay here for long, there's no telling what other playmates might show up. This beam of light indicates a Frontier Nav site. It marks the ideal spot to bury the probe.
Okay, the probe should be ready for insertion. I'll just boot it up.
Thanks, Lynn. The top half of the cylinder contains the probe itself. The bottom half is a laser. It dissolves the soil so the probe can burrow to the proper depth. We tried just planting them on the surface at first, but we kept running into problems with the local wildlife damaging the goods. burying them is going to save us all a lot of time and headaches in the long run. We all set?
Yes, ma'am. Whenever you're ready.
Why don't you do the honors? You can launch it right from your comm device. Give it a try. Good. Now we just need to give it a minute to reach the target depth.
And installation complete. We are now online with a solid connection to Frontier Nav.
Excellent. See? At the end of the day, there's really not much to it. The hardest part was calculating the ideal probe locations. We need them spread out evenly to maximize data collection.
Yep, planting probes is easy. And the more we plant, the more likely we are to find missing crew. So anytime you see a probe site, there's no excuse not to plant that sucker.
That'll do it for your training. Let's head back to the barracks and report to Secretary Nagi.
All this experience just serves to make me stronger.
Nice. We beat him. And what I was gonna say, for that, whoever this guy is, wants us to install probes whenever we see them, so. And Elma's saying, it's very hard to fight against different enemies that are bigger than you, especially if it's a tyrant. So we should wait till we get a scale until we engage bigger enemies that are, even if they're the same level as us. Now I was gonna say about this boss, so I don't get interrupted with another advice thing. I was gonna say, for that boss, I would basically focus on getting bonus effects, like for Slit Edge, you stay on the side of the enemy, or wait till Elma staggers the enemy so you can topple it and use Flame Grenade. And use Chrome Armor as much as you can. Once you get Chrome Armor, use it on the person who's hurting the most. Or save it until somebody says, "Heal me, please!" But let's go back to the place so we can basically tell us about them. But we'll be doing that next time! Next time on Xenoblade Chronicles X, we'll report our information to Secretary Nagi and do something else. Just do something else. That was a surprise for now. See you guys next time.